I'm going to call this meeting to order, and we have the minutes from our March 30th meeting. And I'd like someone to move.
I move that we accept the minutes from our March 30th meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Going on, we have bills for payment. We have warrant 21 and then the payroll 21P.
Move we approve warrant 21 and 21P for payment.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, warrant 21, the grand total is $18,560. It includes copier expenses and the lease. We have Fisher and Fisher's office, the town attorney, for $199, and that's regarding the Trans-Canada process that we just went through. We have some bills from Green Mountain Power, our monthly Rescue Inc. Payment, and our new town clerk attended a training for town clerks. So, with that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Let's see, got some of those. Okay, here's the portion of our show where we recognize visitors and take public comments. And Jean Newell
You want me first?
come. Yes,
Dear.
yes.
To break the ice.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous.
Oh, well, we're all friends. Do you
Yes.
know
Yeah, I know.
Do you know everyone?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I'm very honored and humbled that the Dummerston Selectboard their offer asking me to be appointed to the Board of Auditors until the 2017 town meeting. I have faithfully and honorably served our town as auditor for the past 21 years, since 1995. This position has brought me much satisfaction in meeting the numerous deadlines for the town report and balancing the required checking accounts. As many of you know, I am a perfectionist to the core. I deliberated long and hard, listening to my peers, friends, and family, and pondered many aspects of this situation. Last summer, it was brought to my attention that other townspeople were interested in the auditor's position. Again, searching my soul, I decided to step aside and not run again for the 3-year term commitment, making available space for others. If another resident was eagerly to come forth with a sense of volunteering, I was pleased to see the position go forward. My accumulated knowledge of the position tells me this. The yearly town report of 60+ pages takes many, many hours of preparation, connecting with all necessary boards, etc., proofreading, checking and rechecking articles and reports, and most of all, finding a competent typist to organize the report with professionalism. We auditors verify the mailing list, we contact the printer, we contact the postal service, and coordinate with them for the vast mailing of 700+ books. The deadline for mailing to qualified recipients is always the same, 10 days before a town meeting. Our much easier charge is to balance each month the town checkbook. With 3 auditors, this task is shared 4 times a year for each, although the task may require a helping hand. Sometimes it really does. It's just the situation. It has become increasingly more difficult as time passes to successfully fulfill the town report duties. Lori Fischette has been our right-hand assistant, synchronizing and typing the report for the last 10 years. We will no longer be able to rely on her expertise now that she has moved to her new town position as town clerk. My decision was just difficult to make. It is with regret I must turn down your Dummerston Town Auditor offer, although I will be readily available to offer my suggestions, answer questions, and be supportive to whomever you may appoint. Thank you for the opportunity to serve our town and to keep serving. It has been fulfilling and rewarding knowing the select board has put their confidence in my work as auditor for the last 21 years, sincerely. I truly mean that I will be here to help. I
Okay.
just don't want that responsibility. It's getting more difficult, and Lori can attest to that. So, that's my say.
Okay. this
Thank
will
you,
be
Jean.
Part of the
Jean,
record.
thanks so
Thank you
much.
very much. I give you another standing ovation.
No, I don't know. Did I get a standing ovation?
Yes.
Oh, I
yes.
didn't know that,
Don't
I was up
remember.
front. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very much.
you, Jean.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Okay. So, David Hiler,
Mhm.
you want to come up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks very much. Tough act to follow, I don't think
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, nobody
I'm
wants to follow
one-eighth
Jean.
as
Yeah.
organized or as
Yeah.
articulate as she will be, so I brought visual aids for y'all.
So, my understanding is that you have purchased or are purchasing Hidden Acres on Route 5.
That is correct, we are in the
This-
process of doing that, we have an agreement, we have the signed deposit, we're just working out the details with Mr. Renault to make sure that all goes through.
Okay.
What I've given you here is basically our, we started it as an executive summary, but it sort of turned into a mini business plan. And we've got some revised drawings at the end there for the things that we want to do. I can just give you a brief synopsis, I don't want to take up a lot of your time here today, but I just want to let you know that we're open to any questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, anything that you want to ask, we're available anytime during or after this meeting. Basically, Tim, Amy, and I are the owners of the Whetstone Station Restaurant and Brewery in Brattleboro. We started that 4 years ago, July. You know, we like our partnership, we like how we work together, and this, believe it or not, is a natural progression for us from the business that we were in previously to the restaurant. We were all in the hospitality business in the country inn and bed and breakfast industry. And Tim and Amy own an Airstream. They basically live in their Airstream now. They have a house on Sunset Lake Road, but we'll move this Airstream to Hidden Acres and live there and operate the campground. And somehow they've convinced me to join them in this venture, basically helping them buy their home, I guess. But we see this as a great opportunity for us as a growing niche in the hospitality field. Younger people are buying RVs, they want to camp, they want to see America, and they're doing it in campgrounds. And there was actually a story a couple weeks ago on NPR about 30-year-olds buying RVs before they buy their first car and before their first home. So that helped sort of solidify what we're doing here. Hidden Acres has been a profitable campground entity for the last 20 some odd years. Frank and Charlene, who were there previously, did it for 10 years by themselves. They never really ran it as a campground, and it worked for them. They operated everything, including, bless their hearts, emptying the honey wagon, as it's affectionately referred to, twice a week, which we don't want to do. But we'd like to use some of our marketing that we've done at Whetstone and put it in at Hidden Acres and increase the business, increase the caliber of services there, and but continue to run it as authentically as it's been run in the past. This summer, our intention is to take over the business as is, pretty much. It needs a pool liner, the mini golf needs to be just refurbished, patched up, and made more safe and more accessible and more attractive, and increase or improve the rec hall, as it's called now. We want to put in a little porch area there, a little covered porch area right off the back of it, and make it a little bit more of an attractive space. We'd like to put in the house a 3-room bed and breakfast, which is one of the big changes, I guess, that you'll see in the plans there, what we propose to do, and put our offices there so that we're on site every day. Again, they'll be living on site. And other than that, we want to upgrade the electrical so it allows for some of the higher caliber RVs to come to the area, and upgrade the water services. We have Beck Engineering working right now on any Act 250 concerns, and also, doing the site plan for us at the moment. But basically, other than those things, which are a lot, we want to live with it this summer and just feel out, how it can be run. And if there's other improvements down the line, we'll look at those for next season.
But it'll be open
We,
this summer.
we want to open it as of Friday. Yeah. So we do that. There were some, we handled all the reservations that were on the phone, and that was all taken care of. We were looking at May 1st, but there are some reservations that were written in a handwritten in a ledger that was on site, and we want to honor those. Those start on the 15th. So we have a lease that's going into place with Mike for the interim, so that we can take over. So, it's never a dull moment with us.
That's what we say in Dummerston.
Yeah.
It's never a dull moment.
The big change, which I didn't actually ask, and I want to apply for, we want to apply for a beer and wine license for the site. We don't want to open a bar. We'd like to keep it for campers and for events that happen on site. We'd like to do it as a catering permit so that it includes the pool area and the mini golf. We have a plan to fence that all in so that you'd have to enter through, everyone has to enter through the main entrance of the office, and then you'd go out back, and then all that would be fenced in. But we'd like to make that area licensed for beer and wine.
Would that be something just open to people who are camping or at the bed and breakfast?
Camping or events that are being held on site.
Events, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be a bar. We don't want to have any hours beyond, when the campground is open.
But could you just come and play mini golf?
Yeah.
Or
I mean, our intention is that if you are there, we want to sell them, like I think there's been memberships in the past for the pool.
Yeah.
We would continue to do that. If you're a member, you come in and you can, play golf and swim. We understand there's a lot of local events that happen for some of the area businesses and churches and schools. So we want to continue to do that as well. And, church groups like to drink wine on Sunday afternoons, I imagine. I don't know, but anyway.
So I think we should introduce ourselves, but I also, obviously, the blasting and the gravel pit are not a concern of yours.
They required Mike to put in a massive, I think it's
The
like
berm, yeah.
15-foot
Yeah.
berm or so.
Right, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is the only requirement for dividing the property from the state's perspective on that front. But no, I mean, I feel like,
good,
the
yeah.
field is, those campsites are dry campsites. They're rentable, as you could basically have people drive in. We're not gonna put water, we're not doing anything to that at the moment. That's not our intention, is to keep those, that, great for events, great for, do little small festivals out there. Right now they do, I think, 4 dog shows a
Right,
year.
yeah.
That's the only thing. But I think there's great potential for doing some events out there that would be really fun. But no, the blasting to us is,
Okay.
I think it is what it is.
So I'm Steve Glayback, by the way.
David Hiler.
Nice to meet you.
Most of you I know.
Geraldine Wilson.
Nice to see you.
Zeke
Zeke,
Bam.
David Hiler.
Joe Cook.
Hi, how you doing, David?
Hey, you
Good to
work.
see you.
Good to see you, Dan.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, I mean, again, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but if you have initial questions, hit me, and
Okay, you've
Right.
met our zoning administrator.
I have spoken to you.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
She might be helpful to you. She's only on the job for a little while longer.
I know, I saw
Yeah,
that,
But
yeah.
if you need help with anything, she'll help you until the new person gets going.
And again, we hired Beck Engineering, which is probably gonna be a little bit more costly, but I feel like they will navigate the process a lot better than we can. They've been through it, they understand it, and they're already working with her, or I believe they're already working with her to make sure everything's in place, all the
Great.
permitting is in place.
Good, good.
Yeah.
And you got the fire department sitting behind you
I know.
that you could deal
You
with
guys doing it?
on your propane. and-
Great.
Right, our
Okay.
rescue.
You want
representative.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
got
yeah.
the AIDS in here.
Yeah.
Right behind me, as it were,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
encouraging.
So the
Thank you.
store and the ice cream thing and all that's kind of going to stay how it is?
Absolutely.
Oh, great, yeah.
Yeah, we want to keep the same ice cream that they've been using. Again, all we've heard is that the ice cream is amazing. Every time my son had his 8th birthday party there, and so we've
He must be excited.
great experiences. Yeah, they all want to be lifeguards. Everybody wants to be a
Yeah,
lifeguard all of a sudden.
Oh, this sounds good.
well, it's a homemade ice cream.
No,
It's
look
a
at me.
Hershey's brand ice cream, but it's they use it was a great product, and the creamy product, I forget the name of it, but it was also
Yep.
excellent, so we want.
Big hit for the sports teams around town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like,
Yeah.
I mean, every single person we've talked to is, that's the first thing out of their mouth, like, you're gonna keep that ice cream, right? And we're like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
yeah, so.
Yeah, sounds exciting.
Don't wanna do a lot more food, I mean, I think, I'm gonna try and, keep Tim and Amy back a little bit on that, I mean, you know, if it's a small snack bar, I guess we'll look at that, but I don't want any more food.
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy, I think we've got a great thing here going, and we don't wanna turn it into a mini restaurant, so.
Good.
Yeah,
Great.
thanks, Dave.
Good,
Yeah.
well,
Thanks
congratulations.
for the introduction.
Thanks
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know, you know, how you want me to approach the liquor licensing at the moment, I feel like we don't own it, so it may
Right.
be
I
a little
think
premature to be.
Yeah, our town clerk will be able to guide
Okay,
you through
I'll
that
talk to Lori about
process.
that then. Great,
And we'll see you back on that matter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Great, thank you
Thanks.
very much for
Thank
your
you.
time,
Thanks
everybody.
very
Thanks for the
Enjoy
packet.
those, again, yeah, look
Yeah,
those over,
awesome.
and, you know, my number's in there, call me if you have any questions at
Okay.
all, all right?
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks very much.
Pardon?
Alrighty.
You did very
Let's see.
well. I'm also.
Lori, can you give this to Lee? I don't wanna. That's for Lee.
So, we got Rick Cogliano and Rick Looman here from the West Dummerston Volunteer Fire
Rick and Rick.
Department. Hi, you know everyone, folks, right?
Here's our handouts, if you folks haven't had them yet.
Oh gosh, I've seen it a couple times, but I'll take another
Yeah,
one.
sure.
How are you?
Good, how are you? Good to see you.
And this one pager is specifically why we're here tonight. You wanna start?
Yep, what we'd like to do is, with some fire department, we'd like to ask you folks for your permission to have a special town meeting so we can appropriate funds to build the new center station on East West Road. Rich has a bunch of facts here for you. We got some prices, the numbers.
So what you have in front of you, just simple bullet points. I like bullets. I know a couple folks I work with like bullets. It's a lot easier to read. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to build a new station in Dummerston Center, the one just around the corner. Estimated cost right now, $250,000 to $280,000 is the total out the door. That includes demolition, site work, and construction. We have been able to raise funds. I know at town meeting we said about 40%. Right now we are able to contribute $105,000 of that total cost, which if of the 280, that is 37.5%. So we've been able to raise 37.5% right off the top that we're absolutely going to contribute. We're asking for, or we would like, $175,000 to cover the rest of the construction. That's 62.5%. Now, obviously, we have to have a firm number for the warning for a special town meeting, so we'd like to go with that number. Bids are currently being sought right now, so we don't have a firm price. What we have is, you can see the timeline at the bottom of the page, we have the bids coming back the end of this month. And then we will go ahead, review those, and do a conditional award. So which one do we like the best, pending the funds? If the price is lower than 280, then obviously we can actually take out a loan for less money. But we need a number, we feel very comfortable that it will not go over 280, so the 175 would be our max that we're asking for. So that's why we're here. And then you can see the project overview is the same as in the handouts here. And the project timeline, as I said, April 29th, construction bids are due back. The bid review and selection will happen on May 10th. So that'll give us time to review it, get back and come up with a final bid award, conditional award. So we're looking to do a special town meeting after that. We understand it has to be warned for a period of 30 days.
30 days.
So we said sometime between May 16th and 27th would be best. Once that approval goes in, then we can start, and we go ahead and we get the funds, and I know however the town wishes to do that. Most likely through a loan of some sort. We have put out in the bid specs, they cannot start before June 1. Probably that's a really early date to do anything. That may do some site work, some removal of the building, but really that's early. So more likely July. We hope to be done sometime in October before the Apple Pie Festival and the Pancake Breakfast, so we can be ready to go for that. But obviously that's best wishes.
Yes.
So what are you gonna do with all your stuff when the building comes down before the new one goes up?
Some stuff will go into storage and our trucks will be in reserve.
So we can shuffle one of the trucks over the west side, and then we can keep another one close by here, so we do have fire protection on this side of the town.
So I guess I'm curious, you haven't really had a capital fund drive yet, and I guess I'm curious why you haven't started a capital fund drive before going to the taxpayers.
Well, we have done some. So we do our annual fund drive letter. We do it every year.
But
This
that's
year-
for your operation expenses, basically.
Yes, however, this year we did include an option to, we articulated the project, we said this is what we need, this is why we need it, and we did solicit additional donations specifically for the construction of that station. To be perfectly honest, we were understanding that there was going to be an additional letter that went in with that. That did not happen the way we understood it. So we had thought there would be something else going out to do a specific targeted campaign. That didn't happen. So we have done some other fundraising efforts. We've done raffle, we've done t-shirt sales, we've done bake sales. We're actually, I guess we can announce it, it's in. We were given the Welcome Center bake sale spot on the Saturday, June 4th, which is the Strolling of the Heifers.
Strolling of the
Yes, yes. So that should hopefully do great. All that funding will go directly towards the station.
And that is a busy weekend for us as well, because that's when we do our fish and derby for the kids in town.
So I know we've written in the last couple of fund drive letters, as well as in the Views of Dummerston, we've been looking for this project for multiple years. People have been donating directly to that. So I guess in answer to your question, we've done it. Has it been a targeted, this is the amount we need to raise and solicit big donors? No, but it has been a town-wide mailing of this is what we need.
And we've pretty much got it out to the public what we're trying to do. And
But you haven't, I guess my concern here as we're talking about this is you haven't really done a capital fund drive, you know, where you go to your trustees and you ask them to contribute, you go to your officers and you ask them to contribute, you go to your members and you ask them to contribute, then you
Our
come to the
members-
select board.
I-
Let me just finish my statement. And then you go to the public and you say, well, we've been to all our members, all our staff, all our trustees, and we have 90% participation in donations, and now we're coming to the community and we'd like the community to donate. And then you're not, you know, now the community can donate as they wish to, rather than taxing people who may or may not want to have any more taxes they gotta pay. And personally, I personally would like to see you have a capital fund drive and see how much you can raise, because the problem here with this is if we have as I see it, if we have a meeting, a special town meeting, and let's say the town says no, well, what's our contingency then? And I guess the other thing is, the numbers that you're giving me have no contingency for cost overruns, so that was a couple questions I had, is why not do a capital fund drive and try, I mean, maybe you'll raise 110% of your money, I don't know. And so that was a question I had, and then why haven't you budgeted a contingency of an overrun if there's a change?
So I'll address the capital fund drive first. Our members are called out at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, middle of the workday. We do training, we're here at the stations every week. Our members are putting in hundreds of hours a year for nothing. We get paid nothing to do that. So yes, obviously all of us can contribute. I bought raffle tickets, I bought t-shirts. All of our families have done something. Have we given tens or hundreds or thousands of dollars ourselves towards the station? Not directly, no, but we give in other ways. So we're doing a huge community service through that. Also on top of that, we have our full-time jobs, our families, everything else. None of us are professional fundraisers. And to do that, while we could raise quite a bit of money, there's also fees that go along with that. If you know of someone that could help us with that, please get them to us, because I think we'd be open to it, absolutely, but we just don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I did speak with somebody,
It'd be
that
great if we knew
raises
that.
huge money for hospitals, and they said, first off, if you don't contribute, you can't ask the public for contributions. If you don't contribute financially yourself, you need to go, I'm just rewording what he told me. You need to be able to go to the public and say, we have 95% participation in this fundraiser in our department. We've asked the select board and they've contributed, we've asked the town employees. And then you can go to the public and say, we've contributed 99%. We all know how many hours, and I'm just telling you what a professional fundraiser told me.
Well, I
And
think,
and along with that, if I may add, he probably does it for businesses. We're the business here to protect the town of Dummerston.
No, he's done it for hospitals and things like that.
But we're nonprofit and we're here for the town of Dummerston. And like Rich spoke, we're doing the best we can with the knowledge we have and trying to do our jobs too and raise our families and try to do this too. And we do our pancake breakfast, snow supper and everything else. We're contributing a lot of time weekends. We're away from our families so that we can have money. And pancake breakfast and snow suppers does not build a firehouse.
we have
And that's why we're asking for the help.
We have a capital fund. Through our budgeting, we've been able to build up a capital fund. That is part of that $105,000. So we as a department are contributing the capital funds we've acquired over the years. What was the other?
The other question was, it appeared in the numbers you just gave me that you didn't allocate for cost overruns or anything. And I'm surprised at that,
So,
or for changes.
So we've talked with one of the bidders who has given us a target price. The range reflects that plus an overrun. So we do have that built in. We feel very confident that it's going to be at the lower end of that range. So that is why we are asking for our contribution plus a town contribution to equal the high end of the range to cover that overrun. A lot of times contractors will put in a 10% buffer in there as well. So we feel very confident that we can stay under that $280,000. Obviously, things happen. We understand that there are cost overruns. If it were to go over 280, I can't speak and commit the department to anything. We'd have to take it back to the membership, but I feel we could probably stretch as best we can. We'd have to cut a few things at that point on our end. And we'd have to cut things in the new building. It's bare bones as it is, but if it comes back at 285, then you know what, we'll look at how can we cut $5,000 off the cost.
As you can see, folks, this is Snow Bills and Whistle Firehouse. It's basically a 100-year fire station, 75 to 100-year firehouse. This place to put our trucks in and have a little room. So every time we don't back a truck in, we aren't breaking something. We can't see what we're doing in there. The place is actually crumbling down around itself. We built in 1965, and we're just building something that we can get our trucks into, and mutual aid trucks can come in to protect the town if we're out of a fire. And that's all we're looking at. And it's not a Taj Mahal firehouse. It's plain and simple. Cement pad with a building on top of it. No upstairs, simple, just like the West Station or in West Street.
Seems like a big garage.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was just 2 bay doors.
Yeah.
West Station's 3.
I guess I'd like to echo some of Steve's comments. I've been involved in several capital campaigns, really primarily with the Holden Home, and we've raised this kind of money on more than one occasion. And what we've always done is hired a consultant to sort of give us some guidance. And it's not reinventing the wheel. What they all tell you is there's something called a giving pyramid, and you've got a few donors at the top that are going to give you, most of the funds that you're going to need, and then in the middle level, and then down at the bottom, a lot more. But as Steve said, it's really important that everybody buy in, everybody all of your members contribute. And I don't care if it's $100 or whatever they can.
Or $10.
But right, or $10. But if they what that says to the community is that there's ownership here, if you will. And my sense is your schedule is really pretty aggressive, quite honestly. And I know this isn't what you wanted to hear from us tonight, but I share some of Steve's concerns that, there's probably some really substantial donors in town, and you probably have a pretty good guess who they might be. And, well.
I mean, we live in town, but we don't.
Well, just start with the grand list. But what I'm saying is that, if you, and what's really important is just, schedule an appointment with some prospective donors and get the word out. And that would be my suggestion. And then maybe have a town meeting. I don't know, a year from now or even before then. But when you have raise what you can.
So,
Well, I would-
Rick,
oh,
go
I
ahead.
had
No,
a
you go.
question.
Well, I know Rick, and I have not raised this, so, and I do, I support you guys, building this new station when the time comes. And Harold mentioned he's the last guy in town that helped build this one that's over here now. But as far as, I remember the letter that you guys sent out, and I think we had the option before Christmas, we could check whether it wanted to go to your capital or for your building fund or to your yearly maintenance thing. But I think I was talking to you at the town meeting, and I overheard, and I don't know, somebody asked you a question about whether you had a tax exempt status yet for big donations. Do you have
That's something that we're working on at this time.
So I can give you a quick summary of what's going on with that. We are technically a tax exempt organization through the state of Vermont. We've been that way since we were founded. As we were getting ready for this, even a couple years ago, we started talking about this station. We need to do something. We said, oh, we don't have 501c3 technically. Well, what does that mean? So we talked to a local person who does taxes and is familiar with tax code and said, oh yeah, we can do that, that's not a problem. And it was waiting and, well, where are we? We never got anywhere. So about 6 months ago, we finally said, all right, we need to get this enough. So we reached out to a company that does 501c3s, the Foundation Group. They have been absolutely phenomenal. They are walking with us every step of the way. But we're at a point right now where we're developing financial documents we've never had before. We have a budget. We know where we're at in the budget. We know what we can spend. But we have to, right now, inventory every single one of our assets, develop a very comprehensive inventory, thank you. With all of our values, everything we have. So if we have a nozzle purchased in 1940 that was $1,000, we have to calculate the depreciation of that. That's a time-intensive project that we're starting right now because we just found out, oh, we need this. Yeah. This is a much larger task than we were led to believe. The good news, talking to the foundation group, they said, yep, your situation is very common. You have an organization that was around since before the IRS. You didn't have the 501c3, we'll get it for you, and most likely we'll be able to backdate it a couple of years, so anyone that donates will be able to claim that on their taxes without fear of being audited. So that is what we're going on now. Mm-hmm.
What's your timeline for getting that?
We were told from the time the application goes in, it's about 3 to 6 months. And we have to have all the documents. We're waiting on balance sheet, a couple of bios, and a current budget of what we've expended out of our monthly summaries. So once that is in, and I'm crossing my fingers we can do that within the month. We'll get the application in 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, I just think if just hearing that, like me, I'm the new guy in the select board, but so I look at our fiduciary, our responsibility to our town. We all pay enough taxes. If we take out a loan, and then we're having to tax people for this, or we approve a special town meeting, and then someone asks this question, well, I would love to donate X dollars if it could be tax free. I don't think the futuristic will, they may be able to back it. I don't think that's going to get it, but I would be concerned that if someone was, I don't think it's full disclosure at this point. If we go to the town meeting and people are like, did you do everything you could? Because I know guys who would have given whatever, $10, $100, $1,000, and you didn't do it. So now we're going to tax the people for something that we probably, you know, you guys could have, if you had that, what do you get the number for it, the 401(c), whatever it is. If you had that in place, you know, the town may only have to fund half of this. So I guess me just looking at it right now, it doesn't seem like we've exhausted the proper options where people are willing to, you know, you've done a great job, you know, raising the 105,000. I mean, that's fantastic, and you've done it in such the smaller ways of the hard work of the, you know, that, I know that thing at the state thing helps, is gonna be a big thing too, but it seems like there are probably, you know, maybe if I'd gotten that letter or something, you know, I mean, I would donate to it, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, probably not gonna affect my taxes, because I don't have that much to give, but I would certainly give something in there, knowing full well that I could put that on, you know, a tax. But I think there's a lot of people in town that, you know, that may be very generous if they knew they could do that, and not as a maybe, but as a certainty. Just my opinion.
Rick, do you have a sense of how many people donated with that letter, you know, checking that they wanted to contribute toward the capital campaign? What did you call it in the letter?
It's a fund drive letter.
Fund drive, okay, so, but as
I-
opposed to operations.
Rick, do you know, I didn't see those.
About the same as it was last few years.
But as far as additional, I know we did have some people donate above and beyond as well at, I'm trying to remember the number.
Well, it doesn't matter, I mean, just to sort of complement what other select board members have been saying about, you know, that pyramid and everybody at the bottom, you know, getting the bulk of people to donate even $10 just for the percentage. You know, we've had 95% people donate. You're not saying what they donated,
Right,
$5,
yeah, no, right, yeah.
$50.
And this is critical.
Right. But what a capital drive allows for is those people that have more money to contribute more. Whereas taxing people is across the board, everybody. And the fire department, there's no question that it benefits everybody, and we could do that, and we still may need to, but if we lose the opportunity or don't take advantage of that opportunity to let people who have the resources donate larger amounts, you know, $5,000, $10,000.
Yeah.
And that's just what I was going to say. Some of those people at the top of the pyramid are going to be giving $10,000, and the first thing out of their mouths is going to be, you know, do you have 501c3?
Right.
The other thing that just occurred to me: get a copy of the hospital annual report, you know, where they list all the donors. And you're going to see some Dummerston residents in there that make substantial gifts, and they're, quite honestly, they're not going to appreciate my saying this, but they're easy picking. You know, just make an appointment, go visit.
You're on TV, Joe.
Yeah.
So I guess at this point, just a couple of things. I should probably explain, why are we at this point where we're trying to get our 501c3 and the station? It seems like, as you said, it's a tight timeline. It's a tight timeline because, as Rick said, the station's falling down. We're supposed to be getting a new fire truck in the next couple of years. It's not going to fit in the station. We're at the point where we're tied up against the timeline of the new truck fitting in the station. It's unfortunate that it's waited this long. And it's unfortunate the 501c3 hasn't come through yet. I feel horrible about that. I take it personally because I feel like I let the department down. But as we've said tonight, we're doing the best we can. To your point of the extra donors and getting the consultants and all that, I'm tapped out. I have no additional time between managing the day-to-day operations of the department, having a family, working 50 plus hours a week, and volunteering on the department. There's a lot. As you all know, I was on the planning commission. I finally chose to get done in part because of my commitment here. So I know on my end, I don't have the time. I would love to call people and sit down and say, hey, this is our great idea. What do you think? Could you give us some money? It'd be wonderful. I don't have the time to do it. So if anyone can give me the name of someone I can call to help do that for us, I'd love that. I'd call them up and say, please help us. But I honestly, and I speak for Rick too, we have a lot on our plate right now, especially now we have to start planning another truck.
And just to keep up the day-to-day operations in the department is, you know, we aren't looking for handouts, and we never have as a history of this department, but this is why we're coming for it.
Yeah.
We need his help.
So we'll take help. If you can give us the name of a consultant, if you can give us the name of a couple of people we should talk to, fine. That and it doesn't have to be just Rick and I. There's other people on the department we can have call. A lot of times it does fall back because we have to be involved, and that's why we're here tonight.
So I wanted to fall back, I'm glad you mentioned the truck, because that was a little calculation that I was doing. The truck is in 17-18 budget, I think it is. So you would have next year, if you decided to wait and build a firehouse next year. But some quick calculations over like the next 5 years, the fire department's gonna need like $700,000. And that's a big chunk for the town. So I think this is why I'm trying to say, I'm an absolute supporter of this fire department, first of all. I mean, my wife and my son are both part of it. I absolutely know you need a new building. I just would prefer that we try to raise the money through a capital fund drive. And that's a lot of money to ask the taxpayers for. And I don't dismiss the point that you need a new truck. I don't dismiss that you need a new building. And I know that you need the contribution of $50,000 or $60,000, $50,000 a year to help offset your operating funds. But I'm sitting here, I gotta go tell a taxpayer that he's gonna pay that back, and I think you need to consider a capital fund drive for this building, is my personal opinion.
So, I agree, you need a new building. I agree, yes, you need a new truck. I look at the trainings that you're doing, just responding to the calls that you get here in Dummerston and to cover other stations. And so I don't, so I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, you've gotta go out and, stand on the corner with a
boot and stop traffic.
and stop traffic. And so I wonder I wish there was some more breathing space here where we could find some other people who could take on some of this fundraising and try to lower that 175,000 before we take it to the, taxing people for it. Lori wants to say something, but so that's my thought. If there was some, a little more time cushion here where we could try to not have you guys go out and, shake the trees, but to have other people who have worked on fundraising, do the shaking for you.
That would be fantastic, yeah.
So I'm just wondering if there's that. And now I'll let Lori, who's just been jumping.
No, I can't stand it. First of all, when you're talking about the pyramid scheme.
It's
Yeah.
not a scheme.
It's called the giving pyramid.
Giving pyramid. When you're talking about the fire department donating on the bottom of the pyramid, why can't you include sweat equity or incline work? Because that's what we do with grants.
I'll tell you, the professional fundraiser I spoke to said that doesn't work. You have
But that's not Dummerston. I think in Dummerston it should be able to work. The second point is we could have a special meeting to alleviate the 501c3 problem. VLCT said that we could have a special meeting giving the select board the authority to accept funds on behalf of the fire department and then in turn turning them over to the fire department, which we did that on a much lower scale with the community center because they were having issues with their 501c3 and that would give them more time. And the third thing is on the article for raising the money for the fire department, you can word it to spend or to raise up to $175,000. So it wouldn't necessarily have to be the entire amount if in the meantime they had raised money.
So how, I'm just trying to remember, the last time we had a special town meeting was with the Learning Collaborative. If we were to decide right today, how, we'd have to come up with the language and make sure the language was right. We'd have to have some idea where we were going to get, you know, who we were going to go to get a loan, or if the loan was the best thing, and we'd have to get all our ducks in a row. So try to do that all within the 30 days.
I mean, if we didn't have to do it, May 25th, which is a regular select board meeting, would be the first available one, but I would push that out a couple of weeks so that we would have time to get all of that together, which would bring you to second week in June.
I was going to suggest you speak with Cindy Jerome, who has got a lot of fundraising experience and, you know, is in touch with the development folks and consultants, and she'll be able to give you some good guidance.
Okay.
That's just a phone call.
Yes.
Um,
And you.
I'm Joann Tyler. And I guess I'm really like, when you say sweat equity, according to your professional fundraiser, doesn't count, I am appalled to sit in this room and not thank these guys and their families for everything they do. Because for their bake sale, the wives will be baking, then they'll be standing there, then they'll be buying the food back, and it goes to the fire department. It's a small town. Sweat equity does matter in this town. These guys work full-time jobs, and then they go out and they try to protect the town in other towns. You know, I don't think, yes, capital fund drive would be great, but it doesn't have anything to do with the volunteer fire department. It has to do with the major millionaires that live in Dummerston and the businesses in Dummerston. And I think probably 50% of the people in this town would support them completely in a new fire department if they can get $50,000 under their belt. They still have to come up with $50,000 a year to run the department. It's a little crazy when I sit here and I think about it. It's nothing compared to the Holton home. You know, these guys are just guys. They're trying to figure it out for us. And that's what gets so frustrating. And I didn't come here anything to do with the fire department. But just sitting here listening to this conversation is a little shocking. Because to me, they're busting their asses. And I think you all realize that. But you can't tell them to, you know, get a professional fundraiser. A professional fundraiser? They cost money. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I didn't make my point clear. I respect my family's, two of them are in the fire department, so I know what they go through. If I implied I was disrespecting the hours that they put in, I don't, because I know the training they go through. What he's saying is when you go to the community, it's important to say that you have 99% participation. That's all. That's the only
And in a small town like Dummerston, they're gonna say they participated.
Okay, well, I'm just passing on the information. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think we don't discount the
Right.
incredible effort and commitment that you guys have. There's no question about that. I think, you know, one of the things we're trying to do is bridge the different cultures in town. You know, the fire department is an amazing group. You know, there's different kinds of people in Dummerston, and there's different ways there's different vocabularies, different ways we speak to each other, different, you know, ways people operate. And what we want to do is connect all of that. I mean, the fire department helps every single person in Dummerston. There's no differentiation. You know, when there's a fire, that's where you go. It doesn't matter who it is or what their history is with the town, how many generations they've been in town. There's no differentiation. You know, you guys go. And so, you know, when you're doing something like this, it's different than that activity. because we connect with different people in different ways, and I think what we're saying is we wanna help that to happen. You guys are in your own little world a little bit, and we wanna help open up that world and bring some support. And for me, you know, it takes me being on the select board and hearing you to understand that. If I weren't on the select board, I mean, I live up the road from you, Rick, and you know, but we don't connect. So we're connecting here, and I feel a much greater level of commitment to what you're doing because we're sitting here talking, and so I'm ready to help. But as a select board member, I also am not. I'm not comfortable making a decision that puts the burden on the town before we know that we have really taken full advantage of, you know, everyone that you serve.
I think there are people, and I've talked to people that want to contribute, but they want to know you got the 501c3 so they can write it off. They're probably going to consider making a significant contribution. And I just wish we could utilize that ahead of time.
So in the meantime, we could have them going through the town.
I'm just not sure how we can bypass that. I mean, maybe you can. I'd like to see a statute or something that would explain it, I guess.
All right, I'll get it for you.
Okay, so I think that would take care of that.
I got a thing, hearing this, are any of you want to go around to quote unquote rich people
Yeah,
and talk to them?
would help. I think
Be-
it's important that, I think the point has been made that these guys don't have the time. I'd rather shake some, you know, make some calls or go visit some people rather than stay, you know, in the fire station, you know, tonight,
Yeah.
waiting for a chimney fire or something like that. Yeah, it'd be a
Alright.
much better use of my time to make some calls.
Yeah, I don't, you know, I mean, I hear what you said, but I mean, I think, and I know you sent the drive out before Christmas too, but just me, you know, I don't think it's necessarily that end. I mean, every $10 is gonna add up. It's not, you know, and you get the big ones, that's great, but and I agree, you know, there's everybody, you know, believes that what you guys do in this town is important. And you know, that letter, you know, Christmas, everybody's busy, they got everything they're doing, but I mean, I don't discount the people who are gonna throw it, and I don't want you standing out there with the hat either, or the boot either, okay? But I don't discount we got 1,900 or so people here, you know, 800 families plus or whatever. You know, some of those that are only going to give you 50 or 100, and I don't want to say only, but you know, that's going to add up, and that's going to discount, and then it's not their tax bill. We could go way, you know, people are very generous if given the appropriate opportunity to be generous, as opposed to being, you know, told we're going to increase your tax bill, and you know, that's a whole
And
different
given
thing.
the opportunity is different for different people.
Right.
How you
Yeah.
provide that
Yeah,
opportunity.
and
for them.
I think clearly, you know, this fire department, you know, I think my father was in it. You know, he's got his thing from 1946 or whatever when they were doing it. I mean, you guys have been around forever, and nobody discounts the service that you
No.
put into this town. You know, I think our responsibility is to make sure that we have done everything we could to not increase the tax burden on the people. You know, I think there's ways to get money, 10, 50, 100, big gap, whatever, and it's gonna help. And if we can facilitate that, then I think we certainly would try to do that.
You know,
I
I'd
think
be glad,
anybody-
I'd be glad to do one of those calls, but I think as well, but I think it would be really important to have one of you. And it doesn't, not necessarily you guys, but, you know, somebody, you know, a volunteer with the department, you know, be
People
part of
that
that
are in
effort.
the business in the fire department as well, help out with
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I don't
it's-
think
it's-
either of us sit here and say we want to completely abdicate that and say, oh, you do it for us. But if you helped us make the connections, if you talked to them, set up a time when we could do it that worked for someone in the department, that would be huge for us. That would be just the outreach on that part would mean so much to us and help us so much, because right now we're not, because we don't either have the time or know how.
And then businesses, you know, we need to contact businesses for donations and donating products. And I just think of how we sit here at budget time and argue over $50 in our overall budget. And I just think here's an opportunity where we could do some fundraising, capital fundraising, maybe reduce the, and maybe you don't do the fire department, do it till after the apple pie festival. I mean, it's, I don't know, I'm just, you get your 501c3, the people that can write the check right to the fire department, they know it's tax deductible, and
So do you not, going through the town doesn't appeal to you, Steve?
I don't know, I'm curious how that can work, because I can't believe the IRS wouldn't close a loophole like that, but maybe.
I mean, I kind of share Steve's concern, more from a standpoint of, you know, if people want to give to the department, they shouldn't, you shouldn't have to tell them, well, you can give it to the town and then you can deduct it. It doesn't sound quite right. You know, people, you know, it should be West Dummerston Fire Department, you know, whatever amount, and, you know, put it right on your tax return.
I do think it would be West Dummerston Fire Department right on the check. And then it would go into a town account to be given to the West Dummerston Fire Department.
See, the issue I think there is technically the fire department isn't a town fire department.
I know, I mean,
There's
Well,
a
Laura's
little
looking for the
separation.
statute, so.
My computer's updating, so I can't
Okay.
find it.
Oh.
But what people have done when they did it for the community center is they wrote the check to the town of Dummerston with a letter or a notation
Yeah.
saying for the Dummerston Community Center. And then the town in turn wrote a check to the community center. So,
I mean, they are separate, but they're so connected, you know, on another level, not financially.
But they're not a town fire department. I don't know, I find it odd that could be a loophole, but.
But we'll find out.
I think I'll look into that one.
Yeah, no, we
find out.
should, she's checked with VLCT, that's the latest information. We could, if we want to be even more sure, we could go, there's someone else we can check with, whether it's,
Yeah, I would check with the tax attorney. So I would hate to have somebody find out that they donated $40,000 and then that wasn't quite kosher how we handled it.
okay, so we can look into that and be so that we're 100% sure.
I was hoping Joe would know, being in
Well,
financial.
but I think regardless, this process takes time.
Yeah.
And you know, what we've suggested is that you get a consultant, get those appointments lined up. You know, by the time all of that happens, you're gonna have your 501c3. And I know you're not gonna be building as soon as you might like, but we have a responsibility to the taxpayers here too, and we'd like to minimize the tax burden, and the money is there for the asking. People are gonna wanna give.
I don't think
They
you
just
can
need to be
ask
asked.
people unless they can write a check right then. I mean, I just, you know, we need to know how we were doing it.
Right, but as I say, there's some planning that needs to be done, that's gonna
Yeah.
take a little time.
And I don't think that we need to I don't think that the fire department would need to hire a consultant.
Right.
I'm not sure that that's necessary. I think we have enough expertise and right within Dummerston. I mean, you know, I would meet with you and Cindy Jerome, you know, and sit down and help, you know, map something out and you know, I don't think we need to hire a consultant, but I do think that there's more that we can do. I mean, I'm picturing myself walking up Leonard Road and, you know, going to each of my neighbors and, you know, conveying something that to me now is much clearer and much more real than it has been before now. So,
Yes, I don't know if any other select board members have had discussions, but I have had discussions with people about donations, so I don't know if anybody else has been asked, but it is, you know, the number one point is, I know they're both waiting for the 501c3 to.
That process is underway, you said, correct?
Yes, and once the application is in, so whether it goes in tomorrow or 6 months from now, once that is in, we are tax exempt at that point.
Yeah, so you've hired someone, it's in the
Yes.
process,
Yes.
so
Yes.
you have a professional.
We have a professional, because we realized it was way more than what we were led to believe it would be.
Not quite, I mean, you are, but if they deny it, then the people can't take the I mean, I don't wanna
It has to
mislead
be
anybody
accepted.
here. If
Yeah,
they do
it has to be
deny it,
accepted.
then
Yes.
you're not.
Yeah.
At what
And-
point do you
Wanna
think
be
your
careful what we say.
What point do you think your application will be in? Do you have has your guy given you a time yet?
I would anticipate within 2 months it'll be in.
Okay.
Just do the amount of work that we have to get done, the balance sheet, the asset inventory. Once that's done, that's the biggest part of it. It should be able to be submitted.
And Rick, is that something that you could use help with? Is that something that,
We met last night, we talked about this with the department. We have a plan going forward. Next Tuesday, we're actually gonna inventory all the trucks and the station. So our personnel will be there doing that. After the inventory, it's up to us to sit down and assign values to things. I did consult with an auditor, who happens to be my wife. I said, hey, is that something you typically hire out? She goes, no, I wouldn't know what a nozzle costs. I'm like, okay. All right. So it really falls on the department to figure out what's the
That's all
value
we're
of
gonna
this.
do, that's our team.
The good news is a lot of our big purchases over the last 5 to 7 years, a lot we got from grants. So we've received almost $200,000 in federal grants. Brand new air packs, booster station, washing machine, brand new gear. We have the value for all of that. That's the simple stuff. So anything that's
you just still
relatively
have to
new.
do it?
Yes.
Yep, anything that's relatively new, very
Have to do
simple.
the life of it and everything.
The older stuff, the hose, the nozzles, all of that, that's gonna take a little bit of time. Although a lot of it is older and has most likely depreciated to at least.
So if you guys sound like I understand the building's kind of not in good shape at all, but if the driving thing is the truck, you need before that truck comes, you essentially need a new fire station.
Yes.
So if you just took that truck's arrival, the date that, and you started backdating the stuff to when you had to break ground, I mean, it really. So like I think Joe mentioned, as opposed to trying to rush this the next month. I mean, if that's your driving factor, that that's the no kidding. If we get this truck, we got no place to put it without that. When you back that up, when could you really put the breaking of ground off and have it completed in time to back the truck in the day it arrives? I mean, I guess that's my thing. Is it there's the time criticalness of this is not.
The Apple Pie Festival.
What's that?
No,
So you're
it's
giving
not the
4
apple
months
pie.
No,
for
it's not the apple
construction.
pie.
Yep, and talking, we had a contractors meeting last week where we actually put out to 5 contractors to bid on the project. Only 3 have said they would. And those 3 met with us and they all agreed it's a 4 to 5 month construction time.
4 to 5 months.
Yep.
When do you
From-
expect the truck?
Beginning to
From-
demolish the building,
Yep.
lasting from
Yep,
start
from-
to
Till
finish.
5
yeah.
months.
Okay.
Yep. The truck we actually have to spec and then it has to be built. As Steve said, it's slated in the budget for 17-18. So we're about a year and a half out, 2 years out, something like that.
So that behaves the question, I mean, why couldn't you try to get this done like next April, break ground for your station? I mean, why couldn't we, what's the rush to have it done next month, to have all this done? And I guess, why couldn't we try to get the 501c3, try to raise money, still have time? You could even go to town meeting at that point.
I can see that you've been working on this for a number of years.
Yes.
And you'd like to, what's the term?
Expedite.
Yeah, get this going. Have this
Get
done.
on with our
Yep,
day-to-day.
Yeah.
yeah, so I can see that
We
you,
understand money situations, but it's just,
yeah, so I can understand.
But if we had a target for next town meeting, that would alleviate a little pressure on you as individuals too, because you'd have a date 10 months from now, and then you, instead of feeling this weight of I got to get everything done, the next, knowing you've been doing it for a long time, then as it went, I would think that would give you a little bit of, other than the fact that you're not breaking ground, what you want to see, would give you a little respite for your personal lives as well and your other members. Then we methodically walk this thing through. And then it sounds like everyone here is going to go to when we finally ask to support this thing. And then, all of us, your department, we are on the same page and we're willing to go to the taxpayer and say, we have done everything we could and we, I speak for myself, support, raising of X dollars because we didn't get it through the capital fund or this or that. Hey, here's the fire department's, bid has been put out, this is the bid. If anybody wanted to study the bid, I guess, that's probably public knowledge. There's people who want to make sure everything's done according to the, and then it's, I know it's not exactly what you want, but in the end, we're not feeling that pressure of time that we're kind of self-imposing in some ways. Just a thought.
It would give us time, not necessarily you guys, but for other people in the community to raise funds for this project.
Build a lot of support.
And then we say we got, we plan on this truck coming, here's the timeline, we're gonna have a building, truck's gonna show up, truck's gonna go in.
That's not what you wanted to hear though, right?
Oh, I guess not, but, we gotta work with what we got, and
Yeah, we gotta work together on this one.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This, I
because
think
we
it's
can't
been
do it
brought
on
up.
our own.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's been brought up, we're not a municipal department. We are an independent, we're private. But
Contracted by you
it's
guys.
it's a partnership. It really is. Without your support on projects like this, on our annual budget, we wouldn't exist, to be perfectly honest. So if that's the direction you think, my notes here, just so I'm kind of straight. One, the 501c3, whether it's ours or we can do Laura's suggestion of the pass-through, followed by a capital drive letter townwide as well as targeted talks about donations.
I think it's more than a letter, though. I think you want to get a hold of the papers, you want to get a hold of you want to have an open house at your.
Yeah, it's a capital
You wanna get a new-
campaign,
it's a
which a
campaign, yeah.
letter is a piece of, and that's where a conversation with somebody like Sydney Jerome would be useful. We don't need to hire a consultant, but sitting down together and talking about, well, what does a capital campaign look like? What are the components of it? How do they fit together? Prioritize it, and then get other people to do it. This isn't something that's gonna fall on your shoulders. I mean, the more we can broaden the support, the better the outcome is gonna be.
Yeah.
I think I just quickly made a list of like 10 vendors that I would think, I could even go to, but somebody could go to that would probably contribute something to this.
Good.
And maybe that's what I did, but I know a couple people that I'd like to visit with too, so I'm not against trying to raise the funds, and I just wanna do it in a proper manner. And I wanna make sure when we ask the town for whatever we ask them for, we know we've worked hard to raise the money.
Okay.
I guess
And
that's.
it's not saying you haven't worked hard.
No,
Right.
We've worked
when I
really
say
hard.
we, I mean
We.
us,
Yeah.
not the rest of us haven't been involved in this at all, so. I don't know, that's just my thought. And in the meantime, that would give me a chance to follow up on this.
Yeah, so keep going through your notes, Rick. You were
That's-
clarifying.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the three big things that I had on there. I did
Say them
have-
again.
So it was the 501c3, whether it's ours or the pass-through to the
Yeah.
town, the capital campaign, and targeted donations. So one-on-one with folks that you all or other folks in town know would be willing to.
Well, yeah, that's part of the capital
Right,
campaign.
right.
The capital campaign
Is
is the whole thing,
Okay.
and it has pieces to it.
so.
Yeah, so it's really just two things: 501c3, capital campaign.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, my sense is everyone supports this new building. Everyone wants to help the fire department with this. We just want some more time for this capital campaign. Try to raise money before we go to raising it from taxes. Is that the sense
Yeah.
I have? Okay.
And so, what does that mean about a special town meeting?
My sense is that we would put it off for the time being.
That we wouldn't set. We don't know. We're not making any statement about that. We would put it off from the
Special-
date window that they're suggesting.
Well,
I guess-
we could find that we raise enough money,
That we don't need it.
right.
It's true.
I guess we'd put it on the special town meeting on the back burner while this capital campaign goes on. When it seems like we've, gotten the money that is going to come easily, and we say, this is
This is where we are.
This is where we are. We've gone through the vendors and found these donations. it's looking like this is the amount that we're going to need, then that's when we go for a special town meeting.
I mean, I think we could do that with a timeline with milestones. If you had essentially, you got to have a no kidding and construction completion date, and then you can walk back. Okay, I need X amount of time for a town meeting. So if we're not done by then, we got to call for the town meeting. If the capital campaign ends here, you know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
you got to start from the end and come back, and then we may know in September. I don't know, that, okay, look, based on your timeline, you have got to break ground on May 1st of 2017. So if we haven't met certain milestones, then we've got to call the town meeting. We've got to ask for the loan. We've got to do, I mean, it's very simple to, here's the end. What do I need to do to get there? And then, okay, boom, milestone. We reached it. Where do we stand? And then you adjust. You update your timeline. And then if you go from there, and if you miss a milestone, how do you correct it?
I believe most of the permits we applied for and got will stand by for a year, right?
I'll double check.
Because we've paid for a lot of permits already.
Well, I like Hugh's idea of town meeting next year. You're gonna have a lot more people at town meeting than you are at any special town meeting. And that would give,
I would agree if that fits into the timeline. If
Right.
it doesn't fit into the timeline, we have to have
Yeah.
a meeting next
Right.
fall. We have to have a meeting next fall. You know what I'm saying? I think the driving force has to be the timeline that we've established to meet the milestones.
Right. What
I'm just,
permits are you having problems with?
I don't think it's problems. We actually submitted a permit just the other day to State Division of Fire Safety building permit, construction permits.
$1,400.
Yeah, but because nothing happens, I don't think they can keep the money. Because I know at the end, the reconciliation, they return what you don't.
But isn't there usually a year?
I think there's- I think
Well,
there's
it was a year clause.
It would certainly be worth checking.
Yeah.
I've got to check on it now.
Yeah, can you,
'Cause
if there's a problem, can you let us know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would, I mean, if you want any help, and I would sit down, I mean, it's not gonna be complicated. I'll work that timeline with you. We can come backwards, or you can present it, however you wanna do it, but I think that's important, because honestly, that's what we're gonna use to identify, to make sure that we're meeting things. In other words, if we haven't achieved X dollars by this date, then we now have to really seriously consider the town meeting, you know what I'm saying? So, if you need help on that, but I mean, it's a logical way to identify, milestones, and if you haven't achieved them, then you have, alternate courses to go down, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's great, Hugh, actually, because, what I was picturing is these guys leaving, and then where's the connection? Like, what we want is a really strong connection between these guys and the select board, so that we're kind of moving together.
Right.
So if you were willing to be a liaison or, whatever, so, at our next meeting, we get just some little update of, what's happened and what kind of support they need, so that you don't have to come to these meetings every time. But we have a connection that's live and continuous.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to do it. I mean, it's a matter of
That's
working back
awesome.
and setting branch plans,
Right.
here, we got the money, we continue on this. If we don't have the money, we go to branch plan A, which is to, get the meeting. I mean, it's gonna be quite simple, I think, not to oversimplify it, but
Right.
it's gonna be pretty straightforward. Either meet or you don't meet, and then you gotta go.
Yeah, I guess what I don't want to have happen is, we go home tonight and think, oh, well, that was a good meeting.
Right.
And then a couple months from now, we say, oh, weren't we gonna do some capital campaign? What was that
Right,
for?
exactly.
Yeah, that we don't lose.
We don't lose the
Yeah,
momentum.
right. I think maintaining that momentum going forward,
And they have a list of like catching up with Cindy, and maybe you could even work
Yeah,
with
maybe
them to
you-
keep working.
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, maybe somebody would serve as a volunteer chair and
So
try
can
to
we-
do some of your work for you.
Make sure that this is on our agenda
Yes,
each
we'll just-
meeting.
we'll
We'll
just-
just put it
yeah,
on as a
we'll-
regular
Oh,
thing,
right,
so
yeah.
we're checking in and.
About every meeting, really, but we need to keep on
Let's
top
do
of
it
it.
every meeting.
Okay.
It's nothing just,
So I'd like the opportunity to follow up on this, just to
sure,
comfort myself. I'll
Okay.
check with the league and
all right.
follow up with Fisher.
If we need to contact Fisher and Fisher, We came out pretty good on the Trans-Canada, so.
Okay.
But in the meantime, they're executing their plan for the.
Right, exactly, yeah.
the
So,
But, you know, I wouldn't have to, there wouldn't be any question another time, if-
Yeah.
Yeah.
in my mind anyway.
Yeah,
Your
so
name
I'm
and
sorry
phone number
that-
on there? Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, you're going to go back to your members and say
Yes.
the select board shot us down.
No.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, we gotta fold up. No.
I think it's important to get that 501c3
I'm
squared
sorry
away.
that
Yeah.
it didn't
You gotta get that squared away.
go like you were hoping.
I would take the optimistic view and say, we got our building, it's just gonna be a little further
Yeah.
down.
Well, and you got, what you got is a lot of support. You know, I
Yes.
hope that you can convey that, you know, and I think,
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
we're 100% behind this project.
yeah.
Yep, and if we have to delay the project a year, then you know what, we're doing, I think the takeaway from this is we have the support, we're doing this in goodwill, and we're doing this really responsibly so that we don't raise taxes unilaterally.
Yes.
If
Yes.
we,
If we can avoid it.
get going in April or March or,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's, you know, doesn't have to be May or,
Yep, it's construction season, depending on the winter.
yeah, yeah.
People just need to be asked to give, that's all.
Okay.
I would like to thank the select board because the second half of this meeting was much better than the first half.
Thank
I mean, thank you for acknowledging to work with them.
Do you wanna?
We, no, it sometimes just takes us a while.
It takes somebody to yell at us.
Process.
You guys, you wanna reach out to me sometime, or how do you wanna work? You whoever,
I'm gonna
Come off here
contact
something,
Cindy
we'll
and then
work
I'll get in
timeline.
touch with you.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah.
So,
cause I'll have to get some just times, like, for the branches, like how long ahead we have to warn the meeting, but I can get all that stuff from here.
Okay.
I think our next building committee meeting, at this point, the construction bid on the 29th, I would say
Yeah.
May 10th would probably be the next one.
Probably.
If you'd like to come on May 10th,
I'm gonna be out of town on the
Okay.
10th and 11th, but you know, I could either meet with someone else,
Yeah.
or the two of you, or some of
Yeah.
your representative.
yeah,
And the reason it's important, we do that together, so it's
Absolutely.
clear how we're gonna line this out, and we'll tweak it, I'm sure, more than once, but.
yeah, I think that's great.
Harold Williams. Yes.
Yeah, probably one of the biggest help that the fire department would receive is, once they receive their 501c3, is to come to the select board and make it public, because this goes on the television. and
right.
Everybody would
Yeah,
see
you're right,
that.
Harold.
It would be public knowledge at that time,
Yeah,
and it would get out there.
yeah.
And so that would, something that you definitely want
That's
to
a
plan
really-
on doing.
Like a very
And
good.
businesses won't contribute without that.
Yeah.
And Harold has experience building fire stations, so
We won't ask what year.
we'll volunteer him to help you if you need him.
Feel good to lay a couple bricks?
All right, there you go.
One brick at a time.
I'll send him over anytime now.
Well, you also want to get word in the views, it's really important.
Yeah.
Use
Yeah.
Yep.
article in there.
Yep, we have one, the upcoming article is gonna focus on spring cleaning, dryer fire safety, and stuff like that. So,
Great,
checking your smoke and carbon monoxide alarms.
awesome.
Yeah, so we'll have this on our agenda
Standing item.
as a standing item, so we'll get a lot of press. We'll work on getting, you know, the 2 local newspapers to get some coverage. So we'll just try to work and be helpful to you on this, and
And we appreciate that.
hope
Thank you very
things go
much.
well.
We'll help
Thanks for
you.
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
So, did you have something else that you wanted
Oh, yeah.
to bring?
I
Well,
really did come for a reason.
now's the time. You can come on up. That seat's still warm over there.
I guess I came to find out what, I heard at a selectmen's meeting that there was talk about the gun shooting that's been going on the west side of the hill.
That was maybe a year ago or so.
Okay.
Yeah,
No one's done it no one's brought it up recently. Okay.
no.
Alright. And can you tell me what the law is in Dummerston for shooting?
I think it has to stop by 10 o'clock. at night,
Oh, you can shoot all you want until 10 o'clock?
essentially.
Even in your own garage? Really?
In your own garage, I don't know about that. What's your,
As far as I know.
you know, as long as
It's
it's your
considered a
garage
sport.
and not mine,
The few times it's been challenged, I think at state level, it's Supreme Court's upheld that they can shoot. And the only way that it stops is a noise ordinance, which is, might be 9 o'clock, but maybe it's 10 o'clock.
Okay, I thought it was 10, but.
You might be right, yeah.
Okay. And it doesn't matter how much they shoot, they can just shoot as much as they want. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter what they shoot, like big guns,
there's,
automatics and all that stuff, it doesn't
yeah,
matter.
the,
Automatics would be unusual. They have to have a special ATF license to even own one of those, so that's kind of unique, but they may have one.
you
If
know,
they don't,
might-
if
you
you
know,
don't, you can turn them in and they'd be in substantial trouble.
Okay.
Do you have a concern or what is your?
Oh yeah, I just feel like I'm living around a firing range, last year. I mean, it was on the Maple Valley side of me, and
Yeah.
it was in the gravel pit. It was behind Maple Valley. Now it's moved to the other side of me in the garage, for the winter months, I guess, and I'm sure it will be headed back into the gravel pit pretty
As
soon.
far as I know, there aren't any statutes that give towns authority to regulate this. Because the issue comes up every once in a while.
Now, I actually moderated that discussion, and what I basically asked was for folks to be respectful. Pretty much ever since, I mean, I used to hear it from my house, which was almost 2 miles away, and it was loud at my house. And I really haven't heard anything, since
Well,
last
there
summer.
was like a whole group on Sunday afternoons that was going on for a while in the back of Maple Valley. That became like a shooting range for a while, and it was pretty much Sunday afternoons, and you'd have, 6 or 8 trucks pull up, and they'd fire away. But then we have individuals in the neighborhood that take it up to the gravel pit. I mean, hey, my family's been known to go sight their guns in the gravel pit. This wasn't sighting in a gun, so.
But as I recall, Laurie gave us there's a state statute on noise, and if it's excessive, I guess you call the state police. They're probably not going to want to get involved. I wouldn't imagine.
Pretty much, no.
They do occasionally, because I know of another instance where they did get involved, but.
But I'm just relieved that it's not, at least from where I live, it's not been an issue for quite a while. And the thing is, there's a time-honored tradition, the gun ownership and people, hunting, and none of us wanted to, question that, but there were
Yeah,
people
I don't have a
talk.
problem with that. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just a different level.
And there were people talking about their dishes rattling and pets being frightened.
Oh yeah,
you
it
know.
was a little crazy for
Yeah.
a while. But then, like I said, I'm sure it will start up again now that spring's here up in the gravel pit. And I know who it is, and
Well,
I think we thought last time that they'd run out of money finally.
Yeah,
Because
well,
ammunition's not expensive any longer.
No, I mean,
They run
actually,
out of money or get a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, someone actually came to our meeting that was over next door, and it was a very respectful meeting, I must say.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's what
We actually have a group that gets together and shoots at our house occasionally, so it's.
But as you said, I mean, it's the volume and the semi-automatic.
I knew I
weapons
shouldn't have
that would
brought
go
that.
for an hour and a half at a time. So
I had a person visiting at my house, and talk. I was standing in the driveway, couldn't get rid of this person, and then they start shooting, and I say, no, don't worry. They've been trying to get me for 10 years.
And they laugh?
They haven't hit me yet.
And the people got in the car and left immediately.
Did you hear the tires screeching? Yeah. No, it was.
It is a concern. It definitely is a concern. I know, but it's
No, it's fine.
a tough one.
So it's Sunday, that's what, right here tonight? Is there something?
No, I had heard about it being talked about at a selectmen's meeting, and the Sunday afternoon thing went on for, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks or something, and then it stopped. my neighbor will go to the gravel pit and shoot away, but now that it was winter, he took it up in his garage, which was just a little bit bizarre for me, because it really isn't much of a garage. It's more like a shed, and, you know, I mean, it's, you know, there are houses in close proximity to where I am, so, you know, I mean, that was a little weird, so I was just checking. Whatever. But thank you, and thank you
Okay.
for supporting the firemen, because they're just guys.
Okay, thanks for
Doing their
stopping by.
best.
Yep. So, do we have Lee Chamberlain? Is he still around here? Is she awake?
Yeah.
Yep. Lee Chamberlain. What? Tyler.
It'll be in the minutes.
Lee Chamberlain, you have the bids for the truck. And did I see the new truck had finally arrived?
Yes.
Great. Good.
So the spreadsheet,
Yeah,
I don't know if everyone saw it.
Yep, yep.
But there's that. Patriot did send down something yesterday, not with me asking, just like a revised, and he was just discontinuing the warranties. He was gonna be no charge, but they were still gonna be at 140. But I believe that the bid was truck per truck, everything lined up.
I'm sorry, Lee, I missed what you just said. What was that
Yeah,
again?
Craig Allen from L&B, he did send down another sheet with the warranties being no charge.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
So it did
Which
drop.
reduced it $7,000.
That would be Patriots, actually.
Patriot.
Yes.
And it reduced theirs by $7,000, you're saying?
Yes.
So what was their final number then?
Well, I think it's 147.
Oh, that's the 7,000 they came down.
No, it isn't, but, I mean, it was sent in yesterday. So,
Still makes it 140. And
yeah, 140 and
if we allow.
038.
Okay.
And that was just, they charged you for the extended warranty originally, and now they're saying they weren't gonna charge you? Is that what I'm following? Okay.
Exactly. I think, yeah.
That's still $8,000 difference.
Right, and we have bought 3 trucks through J&B. This truck that we're trading in, actually, they sold it down.
So, J&B, Patriots, were they in Colchester or were they in Westminster?
Westminster
Okay.
Patriots.
I see.
And then J&B's, yeah, Colchester,
Colchester.
right near
Okay.
Burlington.
I had them mixed up.
And you're satisfied that Patriot would continue to do the warranty work?
Yes, I did talk to him about it, some. He did say one international dealer, refused to do the warranty work. They didn't sell the truck. And I guess they're allowed to do that. But I didn't check on it any further than that, and he didn't say he wouldn't do the warranty. I think it was just the way a bid is supposed to work. You know, it goes out and, you know, the international, what we're trading in, we definitely got $6,500 more for. And then hopefully the next truck, you know, we do sort of the same thing, truck for truck, and everyone gives us a good price, you know.
And you're happy with the Western Stars? This is a Western
Yeah.
Star we're quoting again, so.
Yeah.
And you're happy with the one you got?
Yeah.
Putney's been happy with theirs?
Yes. There are a lot of towns that are ordering them.
Yeah.
Right, and this is the automatic, right?
This is something new too that Patriot sent down, was, for example, they're offering a 10-year buyback of $50,000 on the truck.
The problem is, it's hard for us to accept changes
Right,
after the bid.
right, and we
That's
didn't even
interesting.
ask
Right.
J and B for
Oh,
it.
for that.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just,
he's-
this is just something he threw together after the
To
fact.
give us more
Yeah, you should have
information.
sent it all down together, yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
and we've been getting 25. The Mac we got 25 for. This one we got 24.5 for. So if that does come true, you know, at 10 years getting, I don't see it being 50, but even 45,000, that's still a lot better than what we're doing. So.
Yeah, well, I guess I'd move that we buy the truck from J&B for the 132,202, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'll second that.
Okay, any more discussion?
And I mean, the exact same truck, you're happy to
Yep,
hear,
we brought it up to, I actually brought it up to Brian Harlow from Putney, the road foreman up there. We went over, he had one spec, I had the other, we went right down through it because we wanted to make sure. And he was, or Putney was getting one also, and, just a refresher for both of us.
Mhm. Okay.
So, I'm not saying that something can't get messed up, because when something can, but, no, I believe it's good.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right,
Okay.
awarded the bid to JB Truck Center.
So we've been,
Officially.
yes, we've been, course grading whenever possible, hauling gravel. I did meet with Hugh and Steve on working on bids and trying to communicate it better with the select board and go over, you know, like this next one coming up is a paving bid. And this was brought up too, just going over where we're gonna pave, how much money we have. We aren't putting out a bid right tonight, but I just wanted to inform you. But it's the plan was Johnson's Curve Road, Houghton Brook Road, and if we do something on Canoe Brook Road. If we decide to do something on Canoe Brook Road next year, we might want to pave that next year, you know, depending on where we go with that. We have $95,000 in the budget. Like to spend around 94, and then we use the $1,000 for when we replace a culvert on the pavement to buy a little asphalt there. So right now, that's the plan there. Anything else you wanted to talk about that meeting?
No, I think
As
just
far as
basically, I was hoping Hugh would highlight it, but basically I think we talked about was that Lee would, like 2 weeks ahead of when a bid's gonna go out, that we would get something to the select board. Like the meeting, prior to the meeting that it's gonna go out, so that we can review it ahead rather than coming in here at 5:30 and reviewing it for 15 minutes and then having it go out. I think there's gonna be more of an attempt to educate us a little further ahead. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And then
yes.
Lee would give us a quick summary at the select board meeting the night that we're gonna put it out, but it would have given us all a chance to look it over ahead of time.
And then was there anything about the meeting where people come in person and?
Well, I'll tell you, so I think we compared, so we had a couple of takeaways. So the bid proposals would be briefed to the select board along with any proposed bidders. So just what Steve just said. That's, you know, we're gonna, instead of us just showing up, we're gonna, you know, get someone to kind of explain it all to us, right? I have no, the bid proposal, and this may, you know, includes the subcontractors. We talked about that, but my note is a little
Yeah, I didn't.
sketchy on that.
I just said that we were gonna identify the subcontractors.
Identify
We were
the
gonna
subcontractors.
ask people when they bid to identify the
That's
subcontractors.
correct, okay, right,
Yeah.
so when the bids, yeah, so that'd be part of their proposal.
Their proposal,
When they
yeah.
came in, we would see who they were subbing, just so
Right.
we know. And I think one of the bigger things, we'd go to the select board assistant or town clerk, like any questions that came in from bidders, as opposed to a phone call to Lee. If he gets it, he's just gonna refer them to emailing the town clerk.
Yes.
Okay, and then the town clerk, or I don't know if it'd be the town clerk or acting as a select board assistant, because we're kind of tasking, those questions would then be disseminated to everybody who bids. So in other words, there would be no question asked in a vacuum.
Right.
So we would see the question, each bidder would see the question, and then I guess the response we have to kind of,
Yeah, it might be a response from Lee, it might be something Lori could just
Right.
respond to, or it might require the select board to clarify it. But it could be done in an open,
Right.
and everybody got the same information.
Good.
It was a good meeting with
Yeah,
Lee.
it
I
was
thought,
good.
I thought Lee had some good ideas, and
Yeah.
I thought it was a good.
yeah.
Great.
And then we thought it was important for people to identify the subs, that they're hiring.
Yeah.
Sound about right, Lee?
Yeah.
Kind of what you remember?
Oh, I thought it was a good meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did.
it was a very good meeting, I thought.
And on the bigger projects, it wouldn't hurt to have that meeting, even 2 or 3 weeks before it goes out to bid with a couple people. Just so, I just believe that whenever anybody has a question, they should ask it, call me, rather than waiting for the meeting. So then hopefully I can find out the answer. And if it's something really, something I should have done better or whatever, maybe I can get it on the right track before the meeting.
Is this a work session?
Type of thing, yeah, I would call it something
session.
like that.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a warned select board meeting.
Oh, no, I think what we're doing is like maybe Hugh and I would meet with Lee again ahead of,
I see.
and the idea is so that then we have a select board, it's not just Lee that's standing here having, maybe Hugh and I would
So it's
would
not
be
the
able to
whole
help.
select board, it's just
No,
two-
I think
two
you just
people.
have somebody meet with Lee 2 or 3 weeks
And
ahead.
I think if it's something that you're passionate about,
Yeah, then you go meet with
then,
him, yeah.
then it could be, you and somebody
Well,
else.
passionate or just
or-
needing to know a little
Right,
more about it.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And we can always warn
Yeah.
meetings if 3 people
Yeah.
want to go.
Yeah.
And then, God, I thought of something else and I forgot it already. Jeez, must be getting late.
Well, you have a way of stretching these meetings out. Okay, I was going to bring up a different topic, but if you want to.
No, I won't remember it till I get home.
Okay, no, you can call. The culvert on, let's see, I guess it'd be, where is it? East-West Road, where schoolhouse, up above the hill.
Where we had it dug out with,
Okay,
Oh, sorry.
no, above the yellow house on the corner of Schoolhouse
Yep.
and East-West Road, there was just a culvert and, stone.
oh, yes,
line.
yes.
So I was just checking on that, how, that you'll take care of that, or,
Yeah, I did clean the stone out of it.
Okay.
When I was down there talking with her and cleaning it up a little bit more
Great.
down there.
good,
So I think it's good.
Good.
I mean, as far as, yeah, I think it's good.
okay,
We're hoping to actually repave that little section Friday morning.
okay,
Um,
good, great, I just want to follow up on that.
So there was a letter, Lee, and to the select board about what we've done in Canoe Brook. Can you just
Yes.
update us on where we are in Canoe Brook?
Okay, our insurance agent who is handling that is Jen Woodward. And right now I sent her the, I do have it here somewhere, but, I sent her the, what we do on the computer. She wanted a timeline. And it says any work we do on the roads, when we've graded them, when we've cleaned the culverts, when we, over the last 10 years. So I sent her all that information, and the last she said to me was, everything looked good, but she still has to contact them and get their whole, opinion and those kind of things. And that's where it's been.
Did you get a hold of the is his name Mark, the regional guy?
Oh yeah, Mark Pickering.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did he give you any?
I left a message
Okay.
and he has not responded.
Okay.
So we haven't really come up with a plan yet of what we're gonna do there ourselves, or that's still in?
Yes, I do have some numbers on that. It's just a matter of when we were, I think it was you and I, we were talking about, let's see where the insurance company goes. What they find out, you know, if it's something that we have to do, then our plan is more aggressive.
We're
I
gonna be
think.
told what to do, right? Yeah.
And if it's something that, you know, there's no fault of ours, and we want to, of course, we want to fix all the problems in town. You know, it's just a matter of when we can budget it in and get it on the list to do whatever we decide to do up there.
So at this point, we're waiting for the insurance adjuster to
Make a decision.
make a decision on
Yeah.
if we have any liability. Is that
Right.
That's what their decision
Yep.
is. Okay.
And, I mean, Hugh and I went up there with Mark Pickering in the state and walked around, and he didn't see it. That's kind of what I took it out of it.
That's why I was hoping he'd had the letter. But I kind of remember it being that as he looked at it as a state engineer, you know, he said you'd have to, and I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, so just take this for paraphrasing, I guess. But you would have to do something to alter the flow. Like the town has not done anything to that road, like intentionally or unintentionally to cause more water or whatever to go either direction. So that's what I get out of it. Like we had not done anything. So in his opinion, again, we'll wait for the letter to make sure we did it officially. But what I remember from that is, in his opinion, you know, certainly we can go work on some, you know, ditches or edging or thing, but we had not done anything that would make us liable for
or make the situation worse.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. We had not made the situation worse.
Okay.
Yeah, and I will have to try to contact him again and see if he will write something, because the insurance agent thought that would be good to have, of course, a letter from him. But I believe she's going to come down and look at it also eventually. So somebody.
And will you respond to the letter from Rick Foley?
I think, well, I was thinking Lee was going to, but.
Okay.
Oh.
Do you have enough
Okay.
information or?
Yeah, I'm
I think our response would be we're just waiting for the insurance
company
adjuster
to get hold of him. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, you could say you've met with Mark and you
Yeah.
know, from the state,
So Lee responds.
and you've met with the select board, a couple of select board people, and
And you same there, just send an email. That's what you'd rather
Yeah.
have rather than I
Well-
almost think I feel more comfortable about doing that now.
You do
Oh,
feel
do-
more comfortable.
Was
Yeah.
it writing, not a phone call?
Right, exactly, in writing, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
then I
Right.
don't.
Yeah.
Right.
so
Well,
somebody
you know.
doesn't say later, well, Lee said.
Right, I
Yeah,
just
nope,
Well, I'd
that's good.
respond in the same way he responded to us.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that was an
Okay.
email, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then just copy the select board.
Yeah.
Good.
No, that's all I had.
Okay. Good.
All right, have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Yeah.
Do we get keys for that new truck?
You know, it's an automatic, so he can drive it.
Right.
No, you're talking about the one you just got.
slam them.
Yeah, that's not, the one he just got's not automatic.
Oh, no.
I can drive a stick.
Really.
Come on. Give me a hard
May I have
time.
that clip, please? Thank you.
Okay, oh, well, let's see, with the board's permission, I'll skip over correspondence information, and we'll go to unfinished business, you could probably toss in that correspondence for a discussion and bring up our emergency management director.
Yes.
Although I'm sure she wouldn't mind just sitting and listening to us go through our babble. And here's Dawn Hubbard.
Hi, Dawn.
Hello.
Sit in the hot seat.
Sure.
So there were just a few things that were coming up, and we thought, well, what the heck? You live, just a stone's throw away.
Yes.
People are just. This is a very popular place lately, so
It
we thought you'd
is.
like to come. We're just going to get updates on the LEOP and the hazard mitigation plan. And we do have that letter about the upcoming RERP, the Radiological Emergency Response Plan, April 14th, and I know you all are dying to go to. So,
Okay, hazard mitigation. Alyssa is just finished Wilmington's. She's starting Brookline's, and when Brookline is done, she's going to start hers.
okay. And is there a deadline that we have to have that done? May 1st, is that?
No, that one's not May 1st.
Okay.
The LEOP is May 1st.
Okay.
So we're working on her timeline.
All right.
I think it's in the fall.
Okay.
I don't know the date off the top of my
Right.
head. I should, but I'm just kind of waiting on her, so as long as she's not down my throat, then I'm kind of like, okay, that one's coming. I'm more concerned with the LEOP.
Okay. And did you see the Marlboro? She sent us the
Yeah,
Marlboro
The Marlboro one,
plan.
hmm
Okay.
pretty intense.
Okay.
So she has all the notes for the hazard mitigation. We had that meeting.
Mhm.
I don't think you were there.
I was there.
You were there.
Right.
I was trying to remember who was there. So she has all the notes from that.
Mhm.
She was supposed to send them to me, and I asked her again today about them, and she just has them handwritten. She didn't save them electronically.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I didn't save them electronically. So
She could scan them
she could scan them.
and just email them.
That's kind of where we're at, is trying to get them from her so I can get a jump start on it. But right now, everybody's focused on May 1st plan, which I have everything except for the one appendix,
Okay.
which is the Vermont Yankee one, which is taking the big document and condensing it to about that big, which is so nice. I got the labeled final draft this week, but we have a meeting on Friday to make sure it's the final draft.
Mhm.
So once I get the okay that it's the final draft, that's going in, so hopefully by the end of the weekend, you'll have the final document to sign.
Okay. So we could sign that at our April 27th meeting and get it in to the state within the deadline.
Yes.
Great. And so let's see, the LEOP, that's the Local Emergency Operations Plan. Okay.
So last year it was 266 pages.
Mhm.
So, Laura, do you remember how I got that to you? The
Probably
last time
wheelbarrow.
that did I had to zip drive?
I think so.
Okay.
That was
Because I have to
good, Zeke.
figure out how I got it to you.
That was really good.
Send me an email to me and I'll look at it tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks.
So this is something we have to sign?
So someone has to read all 260 pages and
But will we get a chance to look through it? I'm not saying I want to read every word,
Yeah,
but
it's-
review it.
It's pretty much the first 8-9 pages are really the meat of it, and it's basically a checklist, blank fill in the blanks forms of what you've seen when we've done the Vermont Yankee drill. Just contact information, who's got what for equipment. The rest of it is just like state forms that you would pull out if you're in an emergency. You know, here's your ICS form, your federal forms, you just rip it out and use it. So it's all annex and appendix stuff. So yes, happy reading.
So when Dawn sends it to me, I can forward it to the select board.
Okay, you can do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not gonna want.
So that we're prepared to, you're saying sign it on the 27th?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Sir, I've not haven't seen. So are these appendixes? Are they like you said, the ones being done by Yankee? They actually write the appendix and then give it to the town. So it's the same one for every town, essentially.
Each town makes their own, which is what the holdup has been. It's a Glenn has made a generic one from taking our big binder and has condensed it down and has sent it out to all of the towns. And then we've gone through and made the changes that we've wanted, and he's made those revisions. So each town has theirs a little bit different.
Okay.
Vernon's is completely different. So those have come back, and I've gotten to where, yes, I've agreed with all of the changes that he's made, and like Brattleboro's is completely different than everybody else's, but ours is very similar to Guilford's. You know, and Marlboro's, they're pretty close to the same.
Okay. Well, I look forward to reading it.
I bet
You go right in. You go right in.
He's the one that we.
But it is important for the reimbursements if there is a
Right.
disaster.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. The radiological emergency evacuation plan. You would have liked that. That was a good.
I can send them. I still have one. I can send it to you.
Yeah, we'll have a
I'll
folder
stick
that
with the
big,
current
right?
documents.
Yes, I should use mine instead of a stepladder. Let me see. Okay, so we'll have the
OP.
time. We'll get it electronically so we can read it and look through it, be ready to go. We'll wait to hear from the Wyndham Regional Commission for the hazard mitigation plan. In the meantime, we can look over that Marlboro plan. And then the letter regarding the radiological emergency response plan overview, the presentation on April 14th. We had a little correspondence. And it seemed like this was a meeting that I did not feel compelled to. I felt the safety of the citizens of Dummerston would be just as well served by my staying home that evening. It just seems like this fellow, who's a very nice fellow, he's on the payroll and he's gotta do something, you know. And so part of his job description is being a trainer, and so he's gonna put on a train. But
Nobody showed up.
no one showed up. Okay, well.
So if that makes you feel better.
I bet the meeting was quick. Right?
But they're holding this meeting twice, so all those people that didn't go to the first one can go to the second one.
It pretty much sounds like it's just an overview of what's been going on for years and years and years, which is, to me, kind of silly now that we're ramping down.
Right.
To be
that's
going
what it
into
seemed like
such
to me.
detail, it just, the information I got just didn't seem like it was appropriate for now. If it was geared more towards,
If it was 5 years ago, then yes, I'd say we should all go
or
to
if it was geared more to, this is what to expect now that we're gearing down, you know, what you're not gonna be getting for resources, what's gonna happen at the plant in the next, which is what I originally thought was gonna be happening at this meeting. And then I got reading more of what was on the email, and I'm like, well, I'll leave it up to you if you wanna go, but I'm not going.
So again, our RERP, radiological emergency.
Emergency response plan.
And we're just in a completely different situation now that Vermont Yankee is shut down.
Mhm.
So it's not as appropriate, it's not as necessary.
Not this
Not this
meeting, but,
level of detail.
You know, right.
Okay.
We're
I
still,
mean, that makes sense.
you know, our funding goes through the end of June.
I see.
So,
Got it.
but they say that the risk of a radiological emergency is essentially.
Greatly decreased.
Yeah, you know, so.
and the plant has changed their own response procedures, which changes hours, which is why the big binder is now condensed to this little annex into the LEOP. So it's taken a lot of burden off of Lori of what she has to do financially, and a lot of what we have to do for yearly drills, maintenance, and stuff like that. I mean, it's still there, but we're looking at it from a different avenue now. So it'll be interesting on my side.
So tell me again with the hazard mitigation plan, so what are we waiting on relative to Wyndham Regional?
The woman that does the plans, she just finished one town, and she's starting another
Right,
town that's
got
in
it.
front of us.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
So in the packet,
She-
there's the draft plan for Marlborough, so
Right.
we could look through that to get an idea of what we're doing in Dummerston.
Yeah.
She had come out, there was a public meeting, and we tried to come up with 10
It was a crazy meeting.
emergency
Yeah.
plans. You know, we had to be very creative because we could only really think of.
I wish that she had brought out, Marlboro or another town
So you had something
to
to,
look at ahead
a
of
basis,
time,
yeah.
because it made it very difficult for people that didn't understand what the plan was.
Right.
I mean, at least I thought so.
I thought it was one of those meetings where you have 20 minutes of useful information crammed into 3 hours. That's my recollection.
But yeah, I mean, if you don't understand what the end goal
Right,
is, then
I don't think I would have done well with that meeting.
it makes it very difficult. So to have you guys look at the
Yeah.
plan first,
Yeah.
then you would
They-
at least understand what's coming.
Yes, so if we meet again, we could be prepped and ready to
Right.
go.
And so what will happen when she's done with those other towns and it's our turn? What does
I
that look
will
like?
sit down with her and start to fill in the blanks. And then as questions come up, I'll come forward and ask however you guys want to go through it. If you want to have one or two of you sit down and do work sessions or whatever to go through and work on it. It's not something that I'm going to be able to do on my own without input. I'm going to have to work with Lee a lot, because a lot of it falls under him too. Or we bring it in and we do it as a whole big group
Yeah.
of everybody, but it just seems
Sure,
not
we'll have a party.
Well, let's think about it from the point of view of using that, whatever part of that process for our learning. So that it's not a document that we have to go away and read, on our own, but if we worked on it together, either in small groups or together, however you want it, whatever the process is, if we're engaged in that in some way, then it's a document that's a little bit more alive for us than
Right.
something that is done and then we just have to go away and read it. So
right. Well, I think starting with just looking at the other one that
Yeah,
she just
definitely.
provided would be a good.
Yeah.
I think so, that's a good start.
Then at least you have a basic
Good.
understanding of this is where we're heading.
exactly. Thank you.
Yep, good. Well,
Good.
any other questions for Dawn? Anything else you need to
I
tell us about?
don't think so.
Okay.
I think I'm good.
Okay, well, good.
Great.
Good, thank you for
Yeah,
coming
thanks,
in.
Don.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks very much for coming in. Anybody else back there, Lori?
They all left.
We wore them all down.
Okay, well then, let's go Any other questions about that business? Okay. Correspondence for information. We've the regular VLCTs, weekly legislative reports. That folder, there was the Marlboro Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Okay.
The DRB hearing is rescheduled for April 26th regarding the fire station. And then the big news was the Wyndham Solid Waste Management District is not taking all plastics anymore. So I think, as I read it, it's sort of the milk jug type containers and plastic, water bottles, soda bottles.
Things with a neck.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like yogurt cups.
Go anymore.
Yeah, and the number,
Well, they only take
can you
one or
actually
two
lay your
now,
hands
right?
on that?
Only
Yeah.
take one and
Okay,
two.
so, at the bottom of your plastic container, the plastic, okay, 3 through 7.
Should be disposed of in household trash.
Yeah, so what are they taking?
They're taking
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
1 and 2, so 1 and 2, so that's, you gotta wait until your container is empty, and then you turn it upside down, or, and look at the number on the bottom. So, all those yogurt containers that you've been thinking you're gonna take down to the recycling center.
Poke holes in the bottom and plant your
Yeah,
seedlings in them.
That's what you need to do now. Yep.
So are we putting signs up here?
They say that they're going to put new signs on the recycling bins, so people will know.
Is that worthy of a town email?
Yeah, that's probably not a
Yeah,
bad idea.
good
Yeah.
idea.
Good
Good
blast.
idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Boy, late at night, you really get sharp.
I'll tell you what, because I see the end. I'm the horse runner for the barn. Let's get it
Okay.
going.
All right. Let's see. Okay, correspondence, we've discussed that April 14th meeting. Unfinished business. Appointments and reappointments.
I, if you thought it would be appropriate, would nominate Chad to the DRB
I would second Chad's nomination to DRB.
Okay, as an alternate?
as the alternate, yes.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, and this is Chad Farnham, who came in earlier for interview. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'll let him know that he's been unanimously voted on to the DRB. And that's a one-year term,
Oh.
right? Okay. Now, Charlotte, our zoning administrator, we accepted her resignation a couple of times now. But I think her letter stated that she wanted to end or have her resignation as the zoning administrator be effective as of April 15th, which is fast approaching. We have a couple applications in for zoning
Couple?
administration. Yeah,
Oh,
they look good, so.
yeah, I saw one.
Of course, my plan is to just have her become the assistant zoning administrator, which is an unpaid position, but
So you don't have any support
she
for
wasn't.
She didn't jump for it real quick.
Yeah, she wasn't very enthusiastic about that. So we could appoint her as the interim zoning administrator. She could still be paid for her zoning administration work. And she'd be able to cover our zoning administration contingencies until we get someone else hired.
So we're realistically a month away from hiring somebody, aren't we? By the time the planning commission interviews them, recommends them to us, and we visit with them.
Yes, we roll
Realistically.
them and tell them to go back and re-advertise. And
Well, and not only that, but then you tell somebody they have the job, and if they're working somewhere else, or sometimes they have to
yeah.
give notice. So it's,
Was Charlotte agreeable to do that, or are you just hoping?
No, she said she would be
Oh,
the
oh,
interim.
Yeah,
The interim. It was the unpaid position that she wasn't proud of.
I think she'd really like to see an end date established, but
Yeah, I think she's.
We're seriously trying to
We're
find a
making
replacement,
progress,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I would think probably a 60-day. What do you think? So 2 months?
I'd leave it open-ended.
Yeah.
I would just appoint her as the interim
Interim.
zoning administrator. That's,
Because I think if it goes much over 60 days,
That's what I'm saying. I think
She'll be done
she'd
as
be happy to
interim,
see an
yeah.
end date, and then I mean you could always, but either way.
right.
Was that a motion, did you say?
I guess thought we were just talking.
Yeah, I think we're just talking.
Damn, I was trying to get a motion out of it.
Well, you come up with a motion, let's go.
well, what was your conversation with Charlotte? Was she willing to do it in an open-ended position?
She sees that we've gotten some candidates that are, seem like they are qualified. So I think in her mind, she sees an end,
Yeah.
a light at the end of the tunnel.
Good.
I'd say if we do it open-ended, then we've got to more or less do a whole nother resignation thing. I mean, not.
Oh, we've done loads of resignations for Charlotte. That's.
You're getting good at it.
Well, I'll do that. I will move that we appoint her as the interim zoning or temporary zoning administrator for 60 days. If someone would like to amend that motion.
I'll second that motion, let's start there.
Okay. Any discussion?
Well, can it end before 60 days
Up
if we
to-
don't
up
need
to a
her?
period
Up
of
to
60
60
days.
days.
Yeah.
All right.
And if someone wants to amend that motion, they certainly can, but I would just to get it going.
Earlier in the evening, I might have argued with you. I've been worn down, so I'm gonna let that one go. So any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I will let Charlotte know this good news. Okay. Okay, we don't have to appoint anyone else tonight that I know of. Under new business, we could set a date for our goals work session, if you would like to. That's usually, yeah, as the name implies, it's a work session, so it's outside of our regular schedule. And we get together and brainstorm about what we hope to accomplish. And whoever isn't at the meeting usually gets
Gets a lot of jobs.
yeah, most of the jobs. That's what
It's historically worked out to be,
been,
yeah. Yeah.
Can we do it on and off Wednesday?
Yes, that would be what I would think we would do. And we can give our select board assistant the day off. Can you take notes?
Sure.
Great.
Yeah, and I should mention I'm away for a couple of meetings during May.
Okay.
So maybe we
Okay,
should do
so
that on the
there's a lot of
20th?
So, I'm sorry?
Should we do it on the 20th, already next week? Is that what you're saying?
Could we? Well, what do you?
I actually moved a bunch of scheduling stuff around for my baseball coaching and baseball observing for my kids. So I won't be here on the 20th. I'm going to be up in Lake.
Okay.
No, I'm going to be at the training on the 27th, which is the regular scheduled meeting up
Yeah.
in Killington. I'm going to try to get back from the meeting.
Yep.
Can we wait till later in May?
I
Because
would-
the 20th wasn't gonna be good for me either.
I'd be happy to go if we wait to the end of May. I got a pretty busy month and a half ahead here.
So we've got a meeting on the 25th, but not on the 18th.
We've
Is that
got
late enough?
the 27th of April. We'd have the 11th of May. We'd have the 25th of May. So.
Neither of those are good for me.
Okay.
June.
Oh, well. We won't be able to get many goals done if we.
We've been pretty productive for the last
Yeah,
few.
we have.
You keep holding us here till 8:30 at night, we must be accomplishing something.
Okay, let's. You know what we can do? We can table this.
Okay.
Let's table this
Yeah.
for the time being.
Good idea.
And let's go to the real business of the evening, the one that I wait all week for.
So I'm gonna move that we recess the select board meeting and call a meeting of the liquor control board.
I'll
that where
second
you
that.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, here we are as the Liquor Control Board. And, okay, well, let's do Sandry. J.W. Sandry Incorporated, Exit 4 Sunoco. They are applying for tobacco license renewal and a liquor license renewal.
Didn't we do the liquor license already?
Actually, the only action that the board needs to take is on the liquor license. And the one that you did before was just for the little span of time between April 1st and May 1st,
Oh, okay.
when they were hoping to be in operation. And then this is the one for the new year.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
you're
Okay,
welcome.
but we have
I'll move we approve,
liquor
we only
license.
have to approve the liquor license though, yeah.
That's
I'll-
right.
I'll move that we
Oh, okay.
approve the liquor license for J.W. Sandry, which is known as Exit 4 Sunoco.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, how come it has a tobacco license?
Because I'm just gonna send that in with the liquor license,
so the Okay.
board doesn't have to do anything
We don't have to sign it, even though there are blank spaces that say signature of, okay. We just have to do the liquor license. Okay, as the liquor control board. All right. Okay, and then this is J.D. Clements Pub is catering liquor license for a wedding at the Scott Farm. Where is that?
That's on Kipling Road.
Kipling
yeah.
Road. Oh, right, I work there. I can step down, recuse myself.
You do not need to recuse
No, I don't
yourself.
think
As
We've
I
had
said
this discussion
I
before.
don't get any tips, I don't get anything to drink, I don't even, if there's a wedding there, that's a day that I am not there, so.
So this is a liquor license for their catering, right?
Yes, on May 28th.
So I'll move that we approve the liquor and catering request for J.D. McClements
Yeah.
Pub at the Scott Farm on May 28th.
I'll second that one.
Okay, we need more discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Abstentions?
And,
Okay.
and that was a vote on the prior motion as well, I take it? Because I don't think we voted on it.
Oh, I thought we did.
I thought you did too.
Yeah, we did.
Okay,
did.
thank you.
Okay, it's just getting,
It's getting
I'm
late.
I'm
It
having
keeps
a
us here
hard
so
time
late.
keeping track of this. Well,
Well, if you don't mind, I'm gonna move that we adjourn the liquor control board and go back to our select board
okay.
meeting.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, there we are, back in the select board. I don't see where we signed this one, but,
You don't, you just approve it and then the town clerk signs it.
okay, excellent, good.
You'll let the town clerk know that.
I will, I'll let her know.
Do you want to sign? Oh, you did. Okay.
God, he drags these meetings out.
Other business. Do you want to give us a lowdown on the VLCT?
Yeah, so I
performance
just
review?
want to update the select board to say that I am working on the municipal staff evaluation process, and I had a very good call with Jill Muir at the VLCT, and she sent me the updated model personnel policy, which has a little bit of information. She sent me some samples of evaluation forms from other towns, which I think was part of some research that you did last year. And she also checked with the lawyer there about when the select board goes into executive session for personnel purposes, that an employee who is being evaluated can be invited into that executive session. So then, a conversation can happen, and no decisions are made, but there's a conversation that's not as public as the general meeting that's filmed. So anyway, I'm putting some thought into what makes sense, and I'll talk to people individually and come up with a recommendation.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Any other business? On April 22nd, you know, we should plan an intermission so that the viewers can, you know,
Can go get popcorn or
at
something.
home, can, yeah, go get a snack or something like that.
I've tried to
Stretch
be
their
quiet
legs.
and you just keep them going.
April 22nd at 7 p.m. in the basement of the church. Dummerston Cares. Shirley Perkins is moving out of town, apparently. And she's been the chair of the Dummerston Cares, I think.
She and Jean Momedy
Yep,
have
right.
been doing it together.
So there's talk of Dummerston Transition possibly taking over the administration of Dummerston Cares. And so this is going to be a meeting to discuss that possibility. So
And when is
that's
it again?
April 22nd at 7 p.m. You can arrive at 6 p.m. if you want to be part of the potluck dinner that they're going to have. And then regarding the new zoning administrator candidates, the planning commission will set up interviews. It may be a good idea we can either warn it, so however many select board members want to go sit in on that, to be part of the interview process there. But that's something that will, I'll let you know if I hear
Okay.
that they set.
But there will be at least one select board member at that meeting where somebody's interviewed?
I hope so, yeah.
Good.
At least that's what we've heard when Charlotte was hired. A couple select board members
That seems really important.
were part of the interview process.
What was a date on that? Do we have a date for the?
No,
No,
no
not
date
yet.
yet. We just got another resume in yesterday.
Okay.
So we've got 2 resumes in so far.
And we'll get that second one also? We got the first one. I got the first one by email, but I haven't seen the second one.
Okay, I thought I sent it around.
Okay, all right.
I'll check.
I'll check.
I'll send.
Do they do that at their regular meeting or do they hold a special
I
meeting?
wondered
Hold a
that.
special
I
meeting.
think they're gonna try to hold a special meeting.
Yeah, just to expedite this
Yeah,
process.
That was
Yeah.
a question line.
So there's a lot more I could talk about.
I'm
but
sure there is.
I'm sort of running out of steam, so I'd accept a motion to adjourn.
I would move that we adjourn.
Second that?
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor then?
Aye.
Aye.